All right. Shall we begin, gentlemen?
Let's see. Let's fuck this
All
pig.
right. All right. Go Gogs. Oh, I'm Gogs. Hi,
Welcome
everybody.
to the podcast. That's right, to the podcast. This week in Emilio Estevez, we watched the seminal 19-something film Men at Work. There, that's my Gogs.
That was good. That was
Thank
really
you.
good. Yeah, we don't have any Gogs this week. It's a classic Real Buddies episode.
Real Buddies.
Because Gogs is tummy aches or something. He ate too many chicken tendies last night, I guess.
Oh,
I don't know.
And chalky milk.
Chalky milk and chicken tendies. Well, Liz probably ran out of chalky milk, so she had to give him strawberry milk. So now he's just feigning. He's
touting.
No, he's feigning being sick, so like she won't ever buy the strawberry milk again. Strawberry milk, by the way, is vastly inferior to chocolate milk. It's
still better than vanilla.
Yeah,
I'm partial to the banana milk.
Oh yeah,
it sounds like an Energized Clay bit, not just cum, but like actual banana flavored milk. Why'd you shoot your banana milk in my face?
Because I couldn't stand looking at your ass.
But dude, my parents used to get me this sugar-free Nestle Quick that you had to like stir in yourself, and like it was unstirrable. Like there would always just be sludge. It was the fucking worst.
Yeah, I grew up. I mean, my grandmother was diabetic, so there was always like some random sugar-free thing in the house, and God forbid, like I stumble on it. It was always like, I feel like we've made a lot of advances since we were children, but like fat-free and like sugar-free stuff now doesn't taste like absolute dirt like it used to. Like
fat-free is not even really a thing anymore.
Yeah, that used to be
a big
thing. It's hard to even
find fat-free. Now it's just like diet or low-cal.
Yeah, or
diet. Now it's like zero sugar.
Zero sugar is the thing, yeah, exactly.
I did have like the worst like fucking diet food. Was it, Alec, do you guys carry that Walden Farms brand? Are you familiar with what that is, the salad dressing?
Yeah.
They have a 0-calorie ranch, which it tastes like somebody emptied out a bottle of Hidden Valley and filled it up with water and then sold it. Like, it is fucking awful. I don't know why I thought that would be, like, appropriate to eat, but...
Ugh, that sounds disgusting.
It is.
Well, anyway, speaking of disgusting, I don't know, that was a terrible segue. We watched
a movie about trash.
Men at Work, a movie that I remember fondly, but I don't know. It's a movie that, fellas, I'll be honest with you, I watched this movie yesterday afternoon around 4 o'clock. I am having a hard time remembering almost anything about it. This movie made no impact on me whatsoever.
It's like a William Burroughs thing, right? Like, it doesn't take place on, like, actual Earth.
Yeah, and we'll get into it, but the characters make just some completely irrational decisions. Before we get into what did we watch last week, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping, kind of. So yesterday, I wish Gogs was here. Last night,
first time somebody's ever said that.
I know, right? Certainly not his wife. But last night, Gogs and I went to this tiny little independent wrestling show in Carroll County, and one of the fucking wrestlers was Facade, who was a wrestler in fucking Wrestlers versus Pro Zombies. And if you've never...
Pro Wrestlers versus Professional Zombies?
Pro Wrestlers versus Pro Zombies, yeah. And if you've never been to
amateur zombies,
well, they just got to eat enough brains to go pro.
You know what the shorties in 2006 and then all the amateur zombies and vampires.
But if you've never been to a independent wrestling show, 9 times out of 10 that they like all the wrestlers there, they'll meet you, they'll talk. They're trying to make money. They're probably making $10 in the match that you see them in. So, anyway, we walked over to Facade's table and we're like, bro, we just watched your fucking movie. And my heart kind of sank because, like, he loves the movie.
Oh, no.
You could tell he's like, so what'd you guys think? And we're like, well, I was trying to be as polite as possible. I was like, well, the movie knows what it is. Like, it's really stupid and that. But he's like, yeah. He's like, it's real dumb. But, like, we had a lot of fun making it. Like, it's a trauma movie. And he was telling Gogs it's a trauma movie. And then I can't help it. My fucking film nerd kicked in me. I was like, well, it wasn't technically a Troma movie. They fucking picked it up after you filmed it. But he's like, yeah, that's a Troma. I was like, oh my God, I was such an asshole. It was like a fucking, Sean, it was like a reflex. I couldn't help it.
I know. I can feel it. Like, well, if you're gonna let it go, like, yeah, it's dumb, but it's like, well, it's a Troma movie.
It was like that one time at a Soundgarden in Baltimore where they said that they had it on Blu-ray and I said ew, or they had it on DVD. They didn't have it on Blu-ray and I said ew.
I don't know if I ever told this story, but my buddy Shelby was working at a macaroni grill in Annapolis, and Johnny Resnick came in there from the Goo Goo Dolls, and his buddy goes, "Hey man, the guy from the Goo Goo Dolls is here." And he goes, "So what? They suck." And Johnny Resnick, who apparently is the nicest guy in the world, like tugs him on the shirt and is like, "Hey, they're not that bad." And he's like, "No man, you guys suck."
That's pretty funny. But anyway, so we met Facade. He had some very cool stories about Roddy Piper. Like, it was a very nice, like, he seemed like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him because, like, his teeth are just fucked up. Like, all his teeth are just destroyed.
Yeah.
Probably from, various bumps and stuff.
Did you ask him about getting franchised?
No, we didn't bring up Shane Douglas. I really wish I had. But we brought up Piper, and he said, like, Piper was, like, super nice to him the whole time. He said he said Piper was, like, insane, like, in real life. He said that Piper used to do this thing where he, like, they filmed that in that weird, like, I don't know, warehouse, whatever, in the middle of Pennsylvania or whatever they did. But I guess, like, they didn't have, like, bathrooms there, so, like, they'd have to go piss out in the woods.
Oh, my God.
And he said that Piper was so paranoid that Piper would come to him and be like, "Hey man, can you watch me while I'm back there? Cause I don't want somebody to come up on me." And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, we're out in the middle of he's like, I guess, like, well, Sean, you know this, but like Piper back in like the old days literally used to get like stabbed and shit by like fucking wrestling fans that believed it. And I guess he still had that mentality in his head. But he said Piper was super cool. Piper would like call him on holidays and stuff.
Oh, shit.
Like, that's fucking cool as hell.
I think he's getting kind of a re-examination. I've seen a lot of Hell Comes to Frogtown shit lately. I don't know if it's like an anniversary or something. People are like, oh yeah, that movie rules.
We talked about that a little bit because like he's like a big because he he brought up the Troma stuff, but he loves like B movies and stuff. We were talking about Hell Comes to Frogtown. He's like, yeah, I love that movie. I love They Live. I'm like, yeah, it was cool though. He was very nice. It was funny. Like, Gogs is the one that pointed out as soon as he walked out, he's like, that's the guy. That's the guy from Pro Wrestlers versus Amateur Zombies. It was awesome. Anyway, so I really wish, I didn't want to bother him anymore because he's trying to sell his t-shirts and stuff, but I wanted him to cut a promo for the show, but we already took up enough of his time. I felt bad. Anyway, what did you all watch this week? Alec?
I watched 2 movies.
2 movies?
Movies?
Not things, but movies?
2 films.
2 films?
Well, one's a film. One's maybe a film.
Uh-oh.
Some people would call it a film. Especially the 2 leads for their SAG cards or whatever. But the first one, which is not the banger I remember, but it's still a partial banger, Twins.
Oh, I love Twins.
You're the shit that's left over.
Which, I remember seeing, but like, I don't know. It must have been one of those movies that like was on a lot as a kid, but I didn't actually watch it.
Was. Yeah.
Cause like, I didn't remember hardly anything from it. I remember some of the lines. You named your cat Julius.
I feel like that comes up a lot.
This is my first t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
I love
going to be bad.
I love the fact that Metal Gear Solid has basically the same plot as Twins in a lot of ways.
That's right, Snake. I'm the shit that's left over.
That's pretty good, Sean. That's pretty good. Anthony and I used to watch Twins all the time because for whatever reason that was like one of the movies that he had in his house growing up.
It's pretty good. Like, it's fun. Danny DeVito fucking blasted it. And he's like...
Danny DeVito rocks.
Danny DeVito is playing... I don't know, fully outside type, but kind of outside anything I've seen him in.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of his movies, he's like a down on his luck loser, and he's like kind of dirty and scummy, or just like downtrodden. And this one, he's dirty and scummy, but he's also like, his house is like baller as shit.
Yeah.
Like he's doing all right for himself on all his little deals, and has scams and stuff that he runs. His girlfriend in the movie is one of the worst actresses I've ever seen.
Yeah, she's really bad.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I know.
But
I can picture her in my head. I can't think of what her name is.
And like Arnold Schwarzenegger gets Kelly Preston, who's like one of the best actresses in our lifetimes.
Yeah, she's been pretending to be married to a straight dude for a long time.
She's dead. Actually.
Oh shit, is she? Oh,
yeah, she's been dead.
Well,
Alec, are you familiar with the spiritual sequel to Twins Junior?
No, I've never seen that.
I don't think I have either.
Does that have DeVito in it too?
Yeah, it's him. I almost said Stallone. It's him and Schwarzenegger, and the plot is that like a
Arnold
man
Schwarzenegger's a trans man. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of wild.
No, I've not seen Junior.
Alec, I can't remember. Does Twins devolve into a third act action movie like every other movie of that era, including the one we're going to talk about later?
Not fully.
Okay.
But there's definitely like a shootout and some gunplay, and then because the whole thing is Danny DeVito he steals cars. He basically is just like a low level criminal. Steals cars. Does all this shit. Schwarzenegger can't believe he does this stuff because he thinks the best of him because he's a long lost brother. But then DeVito steals a car that has a neutron engine in the trunk or something, and he decides he's going to drive it to Dallas for the $40 million instead of the guy who's supposed to. So the guy who's supposed to like catches him there and threatens to kill him and shoot him. But the Danny DeVito pulls a lever and a chain falls on him. And like the hook from the chain knocks him out, and then no joke, like 8,000 pounds of like normal ass chain, like you would get at Home Depot, just keep falling for like 2 minutes straight. It's so weird and so funny. And they're both standing there looking at Schwarzenegger and DeVito are staring at it like, now what do we do? Just waiting for this chain to stop. And when it stops, it's a pile like taller than Arnold and probably 10 feet wide that crushes this guy to death. Very weird slapstick. The movie's a lot of fun.
That is definitely a movie that's due for a revisit for me. Oh.
No. I thought you were going to say something else. It's definitely fun. I know at one point talked about sequel, Eddie Murphy was going to play the third twin.
Yeah.
Which I would have loved to have seen
That'd have been awesome.
That era Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, that would have been really
basically
good.
Basically, been playing Axel Foley.
That would have fucking rocked.
I think they're making another one of those.
Of course they are.
They're making another Beverly Hills Cop. Hey, whatever, man. The way Eddie Murphy's resurgence is going, like I'm all for it. After fight movie,
if he makes it like metatextual, maybe it'll be fun. I don't know, man. I'm just so worn out. Like I feel like I don't think we talked about it on the show, but they announced that they're making Lord of War 2. Like I like Lord of War 1, but like who's asking for that fucking sequel? Like
Nicolas Cage's accountant.
At least Jared Leto won't be in it.
No, it's what's his name? The weird looking guy that's kind of hot.
And then
Bill
do you think it's going to be a follow up about how they had to trade him for Brittany Griner?
No, it's I saw this. It's two.
Because isn't that what happened?
I think so. Yeah, I think that is. It's like a similar. I think
Lord of War 2 or the guy that it was based on.
I think Lord of War 2 is about a similar arms dealer, but not the same arms dealer, from what I understand. Oh. That movie is very good. I like Lord of War.
That movie's not bad. I remember seeing it.
It's just one of those things
where,
it's just one of those things where it's like 10 years after the fact, the sequel. Like upon first viewing, I'm like, this isn't a movie that needs a sequel. Anyway, what is the? I assume, Alec, that Twins was the film that you watched. What is the barely a film you watched?
It's 2000 vehicle with 2000 pretty boys.
Ooh.
Ashton Kutcher and Sean William Scott.
Oh hell yeah!
Where's my car?
Yeah,
the 9/11 movie.
I'm gonna possibly lose some cred here. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first time I've seen it, and you're not missing anything.
No.
The only thing that I liked about it, like, is that it does at the end actually involve, like, time travel and aliens.
I was going to say, aren't there, like, aliens and shit in the movie by the end of it? Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time you think it's just these people being ridiculous, like, cosplayers and, like, being sucked up in Scientology or something. But they end up legit being, like, aliens and, like, traveling through time and space.
I mean, I'm all right with that.
If you like that era of Stifler and Kelso from that 70s show, like, you'll probably like this movie because they're just playing those two characters the whole time.
Yeah, I think I can.
The only thing, you know, the thing I didn't like actually the most, well, I don't know if I liked it or I didn't like it, but, like, Stifler had, like, a weird, like, childlike quality to him during it, or he's kind of, like, dumb, but maybe touched.
Oh,
like,
no.
But then they made Ashton Kutcher, like, he randomly says, like, really smart things, or, like quotes that, like, there's zero chance a character like that would remember from, like, history.
It's like a Homerism sometimes, where he drops something that, like, doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like,
Bartholomew.
I was just gonna. You beat me to it. That's always the one. I feel like St. Augustine of Hippo.
I like the one where he
What'd you
finds.
say over?
I like the one where he finds is it Henry Kissinger's glasses, and he's like he says the thing from The Wizard of Oz, and the guy's like, "That's a right triangle, you idiot."
Well, by the time it gets in the atmosphere, it's just going to burn up. It'll be no bigger than the size of a chihuahua's head.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, I'm scared too.
Oh, Simpsons are really good. I don't know if you guys it used to be anyway. 30 years ago, it was great.
Yeah, still going strong. Well, still going.
Yeah, I got for some reason
I watched those two things. Every now and then I did the whole couple of years ago the whole full Simpsons catalog.
Yeah, that was psychotic.
You watched everything.
I can't bring myself to keep doing it and keep up. Every now and then I'll throw on a random episode on Hulu that, like, just came out, and I'm like, nope, still good.
You should do that. You should do that with, like, another, like, 90s series. You should do it with, like, King of the Hill or something. That might be interesting.
That's still good though. Like, I've watched them all.
Well, they're relaunching it.
Yeah, Futurama's getting revived too.
Yeah, Futurama's coming out in like a month, I think.
I have a lot more faith in Mike Judge though. I feel like because, like, he brought Beavis and Butthead back.
Stay tuned for Mike Judge talk later.
Ooh. But he brought back Beavis and Butthead, and that shouldn't have been good, and it was good, and, like,
the movie's great. I haven't seen the show.
I feel like
Alec, you watch the show, right?
Fucking love it.
Good.
Yeah,
every couple of weekends we get high to watch Beavis and Butthead while
I was thinking about. I was at the gym. And, like, I couldn't stop laughing, and I had to post that scene from the original Beavis and Butthead series where it's like, the one boy is called Butthole, and the other one, I think he's called Joe. What do they look like? I believe these boys are Oriental. Like, I just couldn't stop laughing. Butthole and Joe.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, not quite.
Anything else, Mr. Alex?
No, we've started rewatching Arrested Development. God damn, the first three seasons of that show
so good
are like some of the best seasons of television ever put on TV. There's so much foreshadowing from everything, even that carries like seasons later. Like, we just got to the episode where Buster got his hand bitten off.
Oh my God!
Like, there's so much lead up to it. Like the 2 or 3 episodes ahead of time, there's like a million jokes about, like, hands being lost.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
There's just something about the writing to that show. It was so sharp and all that. Like, it's one of those things where everything went together perfectly, right? Like, it's perfectly cast. It's perfectly, like, directed. Like, everything was so, like, quick. Like, I don't know. It's lightning in a pan though. Like, I don't think there'll ever be another show like it. Like, I feel like, I don't know. It was just so fucking good. I mean, they couldn't even, like, I liked the first season that they did when they came back for Netflix, but the second one,
I didn't even finish it. I didn't finish
me neither.
Because they split it in half. I watched the first half and not the second half. It broke my heart.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
But no, that's it. Shout out to Arrested Development.
Yeah, good. It used to be a good show.
Hey, that's the name of the show. Sean.
Oh, I watched two.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Basketball playoffs plus two things.
Oh,
You watch
movies?
I've been really enjoying the basketball playoffs because fuck the Celtics. Like that's
God.
I
like
you
the
posted
Celtics.
this morning,
Like,
correct me.
I cheer for the Celtics, but give me playoff Jimmy.
fuck it. I love that dude.
Just
Fucking taunting everybody. I love petty basketball players. Like that's my favorite gender.
Why I love Russ so much.
Well, it's like I texted Nate yesterday. I'm like, I don't want to jinx it, but are you holding up okay? Because the Nuggets are just about to make the fucking NBA Finals for, I believe,
the Lakers
first time.
The Lakers look like they didn't want to be there. They're getting like smacked around.
Oh yeah, it's donezo. But I got recommended a quote unquote leftist movie podcast.
Okay.
Called
Not ours.
Called no, not a dirtbag leftist movie podcast. Like
okay.
This will become important. Well, as important as anything I say later. Called Movies versus Capitalism. But it
got recommended to me on fucking Spotify, actually.
My girlfriend's like a soch dem, I guess would be best. Like left, but not like where we are on the like firebomb side.
Sure, yeah.
So there were two movies they reviewed, and so I went back and watched them. One of them was Idiocracy, and I've talked about this before, or you and I talked about it, I believe.
Sure.
It's a movie about eugenics.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I mean, I still think it's funny, but
in
like
a vacuum, the jokes are funny, right? Like I still find like all welcome Costco, I love you, like all that shit like makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But the kind of like shit lib construction of it is like it's like okay, well, poor people are dumb and also cruel, you know, and it's just like when you.
But at the same time, and maybe this is me again because I just fucking was praising Mike Judge. I feel like I love Mike Judge. But I think, like, I don't know if, I know how we look at it now, but I don't know if I don't think it's intentional. Like, I don't think because, like, think about, like, the rest of his career. It's all about, like,
very working class.
Working class people. Like, I know that's the way it comes off, and I read it. I mean, obviously, everybody reads it that way now. But I don't know if, like, he meant it that way.
Like, do you think it's, like, a, like, galaxy brain, like, this is what liberals think? Movie?
Well, yeah,
like, do you think it's that?
Well, actually, yes, I do, because, like, in the family that they show that, like, well, no, I take that back. No, it is.
Because,
it's not.
Yeah, because the implication is still, if those people bred more, everybody wouldn't be stupid.
Fine, yeah. It's also that guy that's in the husband in that family that doesn't have any kids. Mm-hmm. That's that dude that was in, I don't know his name, but he pops up. He's been in so many fucking movies. He has that great line in Ghost World where he's like, ooh, 9.5 weeks. That's in the erotic drama section.
Yeah.
He's the guy that gets killed by the weird homeless person in
Mulholland Drive, right?
Drive. He's in Twin Peaks: The Return.
He's the guy. He looks like David Demolshin, but it's not the same guy.
He does look like that guy. And oddly enough, he shows up in kind of the same kind of roles. Also, that David Demolsh guy, or however you say his name, I listened to him on a podcast. Like, what a sweetheart of a guy. Like, he seems so cool. Yeah, well, like, you know, I would say that, like, the Suicide Squad was a pretty big break for him. That was, like, one of his bigger roles. And he was talking about how much, like, he appreciated that. But then he was going through, like, the rest of his career. And it's like, Jesus, like, this guy really was in a lot of, like, big movies. Like, he was in Blade Runner 2049. He was in Prisoners.
Yeah. Well, he gets killed by Love in Blade Runner 2049, right? Is he the records guy?
Yeah, he's the records guy. He was in Prisoners. He was in fucking The Dark Knight. Remember, he's, like, the fake shooter at the Jordan thing. I don't know, but he seems, like, really sweet. He seems, like, really, like humble and thankful for his opportunities. I don't know. He came off like real, like, and you know us, like we love like the character actor kind of guy. Like, I don't know. He seemed really cool. I was just like, I already liked the guy, but like I like him even more now.
Yeah, hot take, Blade Runner 2049, not bad.
Yeah, pretty good. Denis Villeneuve, pretty good director.
So I did watch Idiocracy, and then I watched V for Vendetta, and that's
a leftist movie. I don't know. Not really.
It's a leftist book, right?
Yeah, but we've talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this on the show,
like,
but we've talked about this analog a lot. Like the movie's message and the comic message, like it almost like it's incongruent.
Well, I've never really liked the movie, and I didn't used to like the movie because it's a very like ham-fisted 9/11 era paste up of a Thatcher politics book, right?
Sure.
Because it's like very cartoonishly fascist, but now everything in real life is also cartoonishly fascist, so like that doesn't bother me as much.
It's like we said, like when we watched Death Race 2000, right? In the beginning of that movie, you see people waving Nazi flags, and I'm sure when Roger Corman made that, he's like, "Isn't this ridiculous?" And nowadays, like that's not that far out of the norm, which is fucking insane.
But and I think this is the movie and the people on the show, because they're like, well, V, you know, he does all this stuff, but then like, why doesn't he just give her like books on theory, and which is like the fucking like the worst fucking leftist take on earth. Like I fucking hate it. It's like nobody's paying their electric bill with like Peter Kropotkin books. Like it's just a very boring, like, intelligentsia kind of like, oh yeah, if everybody just read, you know, Das Kapital, one of them actually says Das Kapital because it's one of like the 3 books I'm sure they're aware of.
That they also probably didn't read, but that's
no, but like Alan Moore is an anarchist, like, and I think he explains anarchy a lot in interviews that the book doesn't really like get into that deeply, but like in the book he's just the symbol, right? It's like, I'm gonna do all this shit and then you guys do whatever you want. Like but in the movie they're complaining that he's not like setting up like fucking mutual aid networks and all this other shit. And it's like that's not
the character. Yeah. I like the movie. I think like the movie the movie is actually fine. Make that, right? Didn't they just
wrote it?
Oh, because I think like I like, I don't know. The movie is like a fun watch for me. Like I thought like the action's good and I like how
I love Hugo Weaving. Like he's awesome, but like it's like the movie, the thing that I don't like about the movie now is that like it reads as like this weird kind of like almost quasi romance, like V is in love with Evie, which is not
in the book
at all. Right. No. Like, to the point, like, you don't even really know. I guess you do know he's a man because they say the man from Room 5. But, like, it's implied that, like, the V person, it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah.
If they're a man or a woman or whatever.
Blank slate, like,
right.
Subject. Like, they don't, you don't get to know anything about V, really, at all in the book.
Yeah. And, like, Natalie Portman is not great in the movie.
Well, you just hate Natalie Portman.
She's good in Closer.
She's good in Annihilation.
She's great in Annihilation. That movie rules. But it's just like I don't know, man. Like and I guess that's probably why we're more into like some of the shit we watch on YouTube. Some of these creators, because like this like very boring academic. Well, it's not really good if you don't set up cooperative shit. It's like, come on, dude. Like that's not like you're like deliberately misreading what's going on to kind of fit this like goofy ass college narrative that you have.
I mean, to me, if you want to talk about like a leftist film, and it's funny just because
Sorry to bother you.
Yeah, that was the one. I mean, that to me is like the ultimate like leftist film. Like, and I think it's also good, and it's also not like super preachy. Like, I think that movie is incredible. I was talking to somebody. I did like a market thing on Saturday, and somebody saw I have a Tessa Thompson from that movie, a drawing of her, and somebody brought it like, oh, I love that movie, but they're like, I don't understand the horses, and I was like, well, like think about it, like it's a great metaphor, right? Because like capitalism has to fool you into thinking the next thing that they're trying to dupe you into is great, and that's what they keep saying. Like they're like, oh, well, he turned horses, but we got these huge dicks. And it's like, that's like such a stupid metaphor, but it works so well. Like, I don't know, I fucking love that movie. Boots Riley, please, dear God, make another movie. Please.
Well, he's got an Amazon show coming out, which is hysterical.
Even better. Is it a fictional show, or is it like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sign me up. I'm there. I'm there. I can't wait. I think Sorry to Bother You is like criminally underrated. Like I love that movie.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, and it's when we both saw it was just so out of left field. Alex, did you ever see it?
No, I never got around to watching it.
I think you would really like it.
I think you would like it. Yeah, it's weird, but it's not like unapproachable weird.
But it's also really funny too. Like,
Yeah, it's really good. And Lakeith Stanfield's great, Tessa Thompson's great. You know, two actors that we've quoted about on the show a million times.
Yeah. What's his name? Not Steven Chet. What the fuck is that guy's name?
The cannibal who's in it?
No, Glenn from The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Yeun.
Stephen Yeun, yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
John Hamm's great, especially
Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer, yeah.
Armie Hammer's really good. It sucks because he's like really good, and then you find out he's like just a monster in real life. It's like that.
Yeah, my dad said there's. What did you say, Alex?
He wants to eat people.
Yeah, he literally wanted to eat people.
Well, my dad said like he saw a documentary or something, like a true crime thing about that whole family, and there's like a fucking nightmare.
Well, I think I don't know if I said this in the show or not, but so like you hear his name and you always make the joke like, oh, like Armie Hammer.
Yeah,
he's literally part of that family.
Oh no,
like,
shit.
That's like, you know how like America has these dynasties of like companies that have been around for he's part of the Armie Hammer family. That's where his fucking name. But like,
Jesus Christ.
I don't need to get into it now, but like, look it up. Like, everybody in his family is like a fucking murderer. They got away with it. Like, I think his grandfather killed like 7 people. Like, it's insane.
Jesus.
It's fucking
John DuPont was killing and raping wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
What was that movie with Steve Carell?
Foxcatcher. It's really bad.
I
found it like very distracting.
But the real life story. There's a documentary.
Well, Kurt Angle was there too, apparently.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah.
Anything else, Sean?
No, that's all I watched. TJ.
Gogs. He's not here. I watched 2 things. And I promoted us on the other show, so I'll promote the other show on this show. So for me and Chris Parks do a little tiny bite-sized podcast called the Dead Air Horror Review Show. You can find it on Spotify. We watched.
Sure, got a non-compete.
We watched Scream 6 and it was fucking horrendous. I thought Scream.
I saw you posted something where they had a murder party reference. I was like, that's weird.
Oh, yeah, I was like, it's funny, I'm very precious about, most of Jeremy Saulnier's movies, and like, when that guy showed up and he was in the fucking cardboard night outfit, I was like, how dare you, sir? But like, man, I hated Scream 5, I know I talked about it on the show a million years ago. I think Scream 6 is so fucking bad, it's like, it's the same shit, like, all the characters are, like, interchangeable, and they constantly talk about the same shit that they've talked about for, 6 movies now. It's like, these are the rules, and this is a franchise now, and the main character has to change, or the franchise gets stale, and I just want to fucking pull my eyes out. It's just like, and then the movie, like, has like this George Lucas thing where literally every character has to be related to another character. I'm like,
I thought you meant there was a black guy in it.
They don't watch movies. According to George Lucas.
What are you talking about? An all-black film?
That's not my stance. That's not my stance. That's George Lucas' stance.
Yeah, George Lucas.
I love all-black films.
George Lucas fucking that George Lucas.
It also implies that he was unfamiliar with Billy D. Williams' career prior to.
Or literally any black made film. Like, the man has he's older than us. Like, arguably, like, he should have known the existence that, like, there are black filmmakers out there. But also, I mean, I love it. I could just have this. It's one of those things that lives rent free in my head.
I told Star Wars the white slave. I mean, he wasn't wrong.
He was on fucking 60 Minutes, and he was like trying to, like, he was talking about selling Star Wars, but he was also talking about Red Tails, and he's like an all-black film, and he's looking at him like, have you ever heard of this fucking shit? Like, this is crazy. Oh, my God. That is one of the greatest the most, like, clueless, like, billionaire white person moments I've ever seen in my life.
I wonder how that went over with his black wife.
I don't know. She's probably living very she's probably like, okay, George. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Honey, you did it.
So anyway, Scream 6, it's fucking terrible. I mean, it's really, really bad.
I've managed to live my whole life and never see a Scream movie. Like, the only thing I know about Scream comes from fucking Not Another Scary Movie.
I mean, watch the first one's good. The first one's legitimately good. I mean, the problem is that, much like Lord of War, to me, like, Scream never facilitated a sequel. Like, the first one's good, and it was clever, and it was different for the time, and, like, we watched New Nightmare, right? Like, I feel like Scream was more, it was like a better version of what he was trying to do in New Nightmare with making it like the meta context kind of thing. Like, I think Scream works, and Scream also has like, I don't know, I really like the original Scream, like a lot.
How are you guys on Matthew Lillard in general? Because I really like him, and I wish he was in more stuff. But
I like him. He was good in SLC Punk, and he's good in Scream. He's good in Twin Peaks: The Return, where his head spontaneously explodes. But no, I mean, I like Scream a lot, but I don't have a fondness for the sequels, and like these later sequels, like 5 and 6, like I think what they're trying to do is establish like a new cast, and like the cast is like like I couldn't name any of the characters in this movie, and apparently some of them were in the previous movie that I totally forgot about, and it's really bad because that movie, Scream 5, came out last year, so it's like they fast-tracked this one to come out.
Who owns that? Because wasn't that a Miramax property? Or
it was a New Line. It was a New Line property. And New Line is back somehow, but... Anyway.
Are you sure it wasn't Miramax? I distinctly remember...
I could be wrong. You might be right.
In one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies, they cut to, like, Scream...
They cut to Wes Craven, right? I think?
Well, yeah, it's Shannon Doherty, and she's, like, being chased. And something cheap happens, like the phone breaks or something. She's like, fucking Miramax.
I mean, you're probably
right. What's going on? He's just sitting in a chair counting his money. He's like, I'll be right there.
You're probably right. I could be wrong. It's one of the other.
Bob Strike Back. It's probably that.
Well, because like Wes, he worked like
it
all
was
the
Miramax and Dimension.
Oh, okay. But anyway,
fucking Miramax.
Just don't watch Scream 5 or 6. They're really bad. The other thing I watched just before the show started. I watched a movie that's been getting a lot of hype called Sisu. SISU.
Oh yeah. Is it really short?
It's an hour and a half, like right on the dot. So it's like perfect. Honestly, though, it could have been shorter. The movie is incredibly simple and easy. It's literally just this guy who is. So this takes place in towards the end of World War II. Where basically Russia just made a pact with Finland, so Finland is like basically purging the Nazis out of Finland, and so it's in the waning days.
And they're all moving to the Ukraine.
Well, pretty much.
I did it.
Yeah, I know. But no, they all went to Brazil. But anyway,
but the boys from Brazil are little Hitlers, just like in that movie I saw. I can't remember the name of.
I don't know what you and what kind of boys in Brazil thing you got going on in there, but
I'm still the boss in here. If you don't like it, there's a big ass door.
Anyway, Sisu is like incredibly simple, right? Like this old man, he's in like war-torn Finland. He is literally just like mining for gold, and he finds it. And in the process of him finding this gold, he is come across by a bunch of Nazis who are on their way to, I forget what country they're on their way to. It doesn't matter. Anyway, and basically they try to kill him, and then the whole movie is just the Nazis trying to kill this guy, and this guy's systematically killing all the Nazis in like the most badass way possible. There's like almost no dialogue. And I will say, and I know I made the same complaint about Prey. They speak in English, and it bothers me because it's like, first of all, there's like 10 lines of dialogue in this movie. Like, would it have killed you just to have, like, you don't even have to subtitle it. Just have them speak in Finnish and German. Like, you know from context what's happening. They're literally just like, how is this guy not dying and him killing people? Like, anyway, I really enjoyed it.
Is he end up being an Ubermensch?
No. So what the backstory is that this guy, the Finnish guy, he was
Stephen Lang.
It could have been. He kind of looked like Stephen Lang. Basically, he was like a Finnish commando that like slaughtered like scores of Russians. Because you remember, like Finland and Russia during World War II had like a huge like
It'll dust up.
Yeah, good one. And so they say basically he just was like he was like a wrecking crew, like just killing like Russians left and right. And like at one point, like I guess the Russians killed his family, so he just went like berserker mode. And so now he's in that kind of the state that we like in movies where he's kind of like this movie is very similar to John Wick, right? Because he's in his like when he's mining for this gold, like he's in his like I'm done being a killer mode. Like, again, this is all illustrated through the movie.
Is the new meta no longer Die Hard in, but John Wick in? Do you think that's
Yes, 1,000%. Because you had the Nobody, or whatever. I don't think it was called The Nobody, but Nobody. Mr. Nobody. Yeah, it's John Wick. But the other thing that's very John Wick similar to this is like when he starts killing the Nazis are like, who the hell is that guy? And they call command and they're like, turn away, like just leave the guy the fuck alone. So it's very John Wick, but the movie's clever, right? Like there's some really clever like kills, and as over the top as it gets at times, it's fun to see how the Finnish guy survives. Like it's just like it's at one point they hang him. And he like is literally they're hanging dead from his neck, but he's like swinging and he finds this piece of like broken like rebar sticking out of the post that they stuck him into. So he swings into it hard enough to stab himself to give himself leverage to like not hang himself. It's awesome. Like it was a lot of fun. My only problem is it's a little long, and it had even though it's only an hour and a half because it's one note. It really is just one note the whole way. And it has a fucking Return of the King ending that I hate because like there's a point in the movie where the movie should just end. I don't want to give everything away, but there is a crazy ass thing he survives, and the movie should just end with him crawling out of the mud, still being alive. But like he ends up returning the gold to his hometown, and it's like he's doing this to redeem himself, and it's like I didn't need that. Like I didn't need that at all. But overall. Really fun movie, and like a movie that I wish Gogs was here. Like a movie like this is like I always go back to this, but this movie is the kind of movie there Gogs would be vibrating in his seat over the ridiculous kills that happen.
He also loves revenge.
I mean, there's a point in this movie where he literally to get away from the Nazis' dogs, he sets himself on fire and then jumps into a lake. And then he holds his breath long enough so the Nazis have to go down underneath the lake, and he kills the Nazis and then sucks the Nazis' like dying breath out of his mouth so he can survive. It's fucking awesome. Like it's like who came up with it? It's so fun. Like I don't know. And also just the violence is so out of control, and it's great because it's Nazis, so you don't feel bad. And I scoured Letterboxd, and I was really hoping to find one, but I didn't. But I was waiting for of course this comes out nowadays. You got to make this political. But I didn't find one, thankfully. I mean, I was kind of disappointed, but I was also a little hopeful that I didn't see that. But
it's because they suspended Uwe Boll's account.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun though. I highly recommend it. It's I don't know if I would have liked it as much if I saw it in the theater because again, it's very one note, but like this is a perfect movie to sit back and watch at home, have a couple of beers. Like this would be a fun movie to watch with you guys. Like we would have all been laughing.
Everybody going,
oh! Yeah. It was that kind of movie. I enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's all I watched. So Working Men. I'm going to turn it over to Alec. What happened in this movie?
My God.
oh my God.
Before you start, producer, actor, director, Emilio Estevez's Men at Work.
Yeah, this is a all-tour piece. What were you going to say, Sean?
Two things real quick. Emilio Estevez wrote 15 drafts of this movie, I read.
Are you
15? No, not kidding. 15. Also, his character's name is James St. James, which is like one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Isn't that the name of
No, it's Brandon St. Randy.
Brandon St. Randy, yeah. James St. James.
Yes.
Also, like, I'm gonna get this right out on Front Street because I know we watch these like older movies with modern sensibilities, but like opening the movie with Charlie Sheen just fucking staring at people in their apartments with his binoculars, like,
Actually, that's not how the movie opens, but yeah, he's like an alpha pervert.
It's a little rough. It's like, all right, like, okay, guys, like, but guys got to be guys, right? Like, I don't know.
The movie opens. Doesn't it open on the senator and the scumbag?
Yes, you're right.
They're dumping a bunch of barrels into the ocean.
The toxic waste.
Yeah, it's the Captain Planet arc.
They're dumping the same
point.
barrels that made the Ninja Turtles and Daredevil.
Ooh, it rolled off the tongue. Ooh.
And Daredevil.
Oh shit!
Daredevil rules.
Daredevil.
Sean posted a pic of Daredevil the other day.
Yeah. I fuck every time, always posted. Just the vigilantes that just like, what is he looking at?
what was better, Daredevil or Crobocop?
I think Daredevil. I think the illustration for Daredevil, just because it's so stupid, makes me laugh.
It's so bad.
So we see a bunch of toxic waste being dumped. The senator says, "You told me it wouldn't leak for 100 years," or blah blah blah. The businessman says, "Yeah, well, I lied."
He's very arch.
Very evil because his hair is slicked straight back.
Yeah.
Which is a look I tried to copy all through the 80s and 90s. Not from this movie, but because I wanted to look like Data from Star Trek.
Hell yeah.
I wanted that straight backwards.
I did it a couple times when I was younger because I was doing Mike Ness cosplay, trying to get laid at all these fucking punk shows.
Did you have the suspenders too?
No, I rocked the mechanic shirt with somebody else's name fit.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Then we wake up Emilio Estevez on a beach with his, apparently they sleep on a beach. He's homeless.
Point break.
They wake up on a beach with him like, "I gotta go to work, babe," and she's like, "Leave me your board. I want to surf."
He's like, "My surfboard?"
He's like, "My surfboard?" Another board.
I don't know if Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen literally surf in real life, but they don't strike me as surfers. Like, I don't know. I know surfing was very popular in the 80s and 90s, but like that it was kind of jarring to me.
They have the most like feathered big style haircuts in this movie that are like, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with the quaffs.
It's been a theme the whole month, but Emilio Estevez has beautiful hair, like a beautiful coiffed of hair. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it opens like that, with the fucking Youngblood with Chapel, like another day, another dollar, little promises, babe, leave your board on. I know that's a very limited reference, but
the clock says like 2:30 p.m.
2:30 because he's sleeping underground somewhere.
Oh man. Anyway, sorry.
So we see that, and then Charlie Sheen wakes up by staring across the street at his neighbors across the street's houses. Watching some getting ready for work, some just coming home from a wild night out. It kind of runs the gamut, and he has commentary going the whole time.
Doesn't he start by looking through the scope of his BB gun before he switches his binoculars? And also, like, if that's the case, does nobody notice this guy constantly just, like, waving a rifle out the window?
Yeah. Also, I've never lived in an apartment like this that it is like, there was a building where you could see, but like, people have curtains, right? Like, why would you just leave all that shit like wide open? I don't know. Is this something that happens? Listeners, let me know. I've never experienced this in real life.
Then we get to see a day in the life of the Estevez brothers as trash men. They go around picking up trash, bowling with trash, hitting their trash cans together as symbols. They're going through the trash. They're finding porn in the trash. They go through purses in the trash. These guys just really love trash, man. And, you know, they both say they like want to get out of it the whole time. How much it sucks.
I mean,
but they really seem to enjoy it.
Dude, their lives are so awesome. They're terrible at their jobs. Like, they just go through everybody's personal effects. They have enough money to stop at, like, a fucking beachside bar to eat lunch. They're surfing all the time. Like, they're getting pussy,
they're first of all, they're, like, partying almost, like, they're throwing trash cans around. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want. It looks like a blast. Then the movie cuts to them at lunch, and I thought their shift was over because, you know, presumably, like, garbage men start super early, so they're done early. And they're just in the middle of the day. Like, they're drinking beers and, like, sir, you drive a truck at work. Like, you probably shouldn't be drinking beers at lunch.
Conservatively, this fucking lunch probably costs like $13 a piece in 1989. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much money do they make?
Yeah, and, they have their fucking, they have their grease monkey suits or whatever, but underneath they have their whole body gloves, surfers, they're catching some waves.
They must be dying. Like, do you know how hot that must fucking be? Like this sealed suit underneath your trash coveralls?
Yeah, and it's California, it's hot as hell, and they're, you know, I'm sure, I've never been a trash man, but I'm sure like lugging around and throwing away like heavy ass trash is not like easy work. You know what I mean? Like, I can only imagine. And then you have the two gay cops that show up.
Oh, there's the two gay cops. There's the other competing trash men that they have like a prank war going on with.
Yeah, one of them's a white Rasta ?
Yeah.
This movie has an unusual amount of reggae. Okay.
No question mark. He was just a white Rasta. You got the gay cops. You got the senator, his aide, who lives across the street from Charlie Sheen that he studies apparently, because he knows a lot about her. Charlie Sheen and Amelia Easton has a dream is to open a surf shop with all of their trash man money, but they have no lines of making more money. That's just their dream. It'll happen someday, bro.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be having the fucking life. I mean, aside from having to get up like crazy early, like, it seems great. You get to hang out with your buddy all day.
I do love that it's still just made like, even though they're trash men, it's still just a buddy cop movie because they still have the angry black chief. But they get two of them.
Yeah. I also love the fact that they're young
Keith David.
Oh, he's so good.
He's great in this movie.
Man, and I've seen this before, but I forgot what that line was. Waste of a perfectly good white boy. I forgot that came from that.
That was a good line.
I swore it was from Better Off Dead when John Cusack's in the dumpster. Like, I could have sworn it was from that, but I've seen both of those movies a million times.
The garbage men, then I kind of lost. The beginning kind of lost me, and then I think I got a pretty good handle on the end. They just go get like shit-faced for some reason. I forget what the catalyst was for. Is it because they knew they had the evaluator was going to be with them the next day, so they went and got shit-faced the night before? Because that's where we are introduced to Charlie Sheen's drink of choice.
Oh my God!
What was it?
No, it was. First of all, it was coffee that was just sitting out on his countertop. So like in a coffee cup, just God knows how long it was there. He dumps that into the blender. Then it's ice cream, like 2 scoops of ice cream, Jägermeister, and presumably Tylenol. Oh gosh.
I don't know. Until you got to the Jägermeister, like that might not have been bad.
Bro, Jägermeister.
Ice cream and coffee blended up.
And then it's still better than the last Emilio Estevez cocktail.
Yeah, well, it had to be, right?
Maybe that's a thing of his, is making up weird cocktails.
It seems like it must be, right?
It's weird that it happened twice in 2 consecutive movies.
Yeah, well, I noticed this, like my radar went off when that happened. I was like, that's so fucking weird. We just made fun of him for making it. And Sean said it in the text for y'all at home. But like Sean's like to Gogs, like, you scared you're gonna have to drink that on the air too. Like Gogs said he was scared. He set a dangerous precedent. It's just pretty funny.
Yeah. Are we up at about the part where the 2 hitmen come and strangle the senator?
We're getting close.
Okay.
I forget exactly the order of everything. I think they strangled the senator after Charlie Sheen and Emilio pass out.
Yeah, after Charlie Sheen has shot him in the ass with a pellet gun.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen shot him in the butt with a pellet gun for reasons. Just because he
also,
could.
like, was everybody, like, door wide open, too? Like, that's weird.
And so Charlie Sheen shoots him with a pellet gun. It really is an annoyance. I think because he was being rude to the lady that they were watching. So Charlie Sheen shoots him in the butt with a pellet gun.
Just like Charlie Sheen in real life, who's never treated a woman badly.
Right.
Yeah. They cut to the next day. They start their trash run with their inspector, who is Keith David, who is fucking tremendous in this movie.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun in this movie.
And one of the first stops they get to, the oil drum that was containing the body of the senator who got strangled by two heavies after Emilio and Charlie went to bed, is they pick it up. They pick up the trash can with his body in it, or the toxic waste can.
Yeah,
with his body in it. They say he's dead, and they freak out.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I probably skipped a lot.
No, I was just saying that the hitmen are so fucking stupid. Like, they're like Keystone Cop hitmen. They have just like a fucking Cadillac, and they're like, their thing to like haul this body away is like, let's like bungee cord the fucking trunk down over the barrel, and then they go too fast, and then the barrel flies off. Like, also, how would they not feel that thing? You know,
there's also a MacGuffin of a recording of the senator telling somebody about the fucking toxic waste plot that the tape keeps getting switched around to some weird fucking club song. I can't remember.
It's
yeah,
like,
and really that stuff. Well, they make it seem important, but really none of it matters.
Not important at all. Yeah,
like it's this movie's an excuse for Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez to hang out making a movie together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently
it really felt like that way.
It was somebody else was supposed to be the Charlie Sheen part. I don't remember if it was Nicolas Cage. It was somebody like that, but then they couldn't do it, and Charlie Sheen like read the script. He's like, I want to do it, and that's how he ended up in it.
I don't know. When the first like 20 minutes of this movie, does it feel like almost like a Kevin Smith movie? Weirdly.
Yeah, kind of. I can see that. Yeah.
See that. Yeah.
Well, like very disjointed.
Yeah, and like lots of like inside jokes and jargon that you have no like. It's like, what basis would the audience have for knowing those, except for understanding it's an inside joke between the two of them?
Like the Trivial Pursuit scene, like, am I supposed to understand that they know all this shit, or they've just played this so many times they've memorized the answers?
Yeah, and then they keep bringing up phrenology. That's like a running joke in the movie.
Oh, yeah. They're like obsessed with phrenology.
Yeah, Field interprets the size of Walter Hessel. I do love that Keith David's like a fucking burnout, and he keeps drawing fucking pictures. Like, he draws like this boardwalk scene with a chopper blowing it up, and he's making the gun noises while he's drawing.
Yeah,
I think Keith David is the best part of the
movie.
Yeah, I really like him in this movie.
So the body, they got the body, and then instead of doing what anybody would do and calling the cops,
right?
The three of them like Weekend at Bernie's it, even though it can't move. And they just, like, carry it around town in their car, out of their car. They dress it up for, like, lunch and dinner and shit. And finally, they get back. They come up with half a plan, and they're like, let's tie it to a chair and put was it a Nixon mask?
Yeah, it was a Nixon mask, yeah.
Put a Nixon mask on it.
I will open communist China to the west.
Put that back.
It's also, I guess, because Keith David is, like, hates cops, which based, but, like, that's why they don't interact with them.
Also, like, I guess because they don't like, they're afraid of the gay cops.
Yeah.
Because they said they were going to have it out for them.
Well, no, the thing in the beginning, the reason they don't call it cops is because...
The gay cops are not actually gay.
They're not actually gay. No.
They get positioned like they are, but they're not.
The thing in the beginning is they don't call it cops is because they think that the cops are going to think that they're responsible for killing him because they shot him with a BB gun, which makes no sense.
Right.
Like,
especially after Keith David, like, immediately does the autopsy and is like, no, you see the marks here?
Yeah. It's very odd. But
also,
anyway.
I don't think they can do ballistics on a fucking pellet gun.
Yeah.
So, they're probably fine.
Yeah,
that pellet went straight up his asshole and all the way into like his brain.
They really, in one of those 150 drafts that Emilio made, he should have came up with a better reason for them to hold on to the body because it's a little flimsy, to be honest.
Before we get off of this, and before I forget, there's something that like is stuck with me forever. There's a scene where in one of their prank wars, the opposing garbage men send an airbag in their car or in their garbage truck.
It's full of shit.
No, that one's not, right?
Oh, right.
Not the one. The one in the locker, which is like roughly 6 feet tall, and I don't know how big, is full to the brim with shit. Like, where did they get the shit?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Did
they shit that much themselves, or did they like collect it from somewhere? Like, I need to know the mechanics of this shit airbag.
I assume them and the sewage department are both in waste management, so they just
okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Like adjacent departments. So they have the body now. There's Keith David, Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez. They have the body, and they're assuming that the woman across the hall, the campaign advisor, killed him now. So Charlie Sheen decides to go undercover and go try to seduce her to get information, which goes poorly. But he has information about her because he's been stalking her with his binoculars for years.
He knows what kind of champagne she has, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, she's like, would you like some champagne? He's like, I'd love some Dom. She's like, how do you know I have Dom? Oh, doesn't everybody?
This is another one of those 80s, 90s women that is either like so horny she's brain dead, or she's just somehow incredibly selectively stupid. Yeah, because she just goes along with everything.
She said he says that he's a doctor of phrenology, which I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point it's not until the beach scene that she realizes he's not.
Well, yeah, because he tells her.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
If she was the Crystal from Eastbound and Down or whatever, it would make more sense that she's dumb. But she's a campaign advisor, she's meant to be someone at least mildly intelligent.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It is pretty bad. So they're kind of going along, kind of on a date. Charlie Sheen and her end up leaving, kind of to go on a date. Emilio and his crew follow after they abduct a pizza man.
Yeah.
Because they order pizza, and then Keith David has a flashback and thinks the pizza man is going to turn them in. Or no, he saw the chair or something.
Yeah, he thinks he's the big call.
Emilio Estevez couldn't pee while the dead guy was looking at him, so he wheeled him across the apartment where the pizza guy saw him.
And that guy was getting one pepperoni pizza for 3 grown adults.
Real quick, the pizza guy,
$8, by the way.
Yeah, that pizza guy, we may remember people of our age as, and I didn't even have to look this up, I know it just off face, as Chainsaw or Dave, I can't remember which one, from Summer School.
Fuck
no way, really?
Yeah, do you remember that movie with Mark Harmon?
Yeah.
And the 2 burnouts? Yeah, he's one of them.
Huh.
Yep.
I'll try to place him. I know I'd seen him before. But he gets tied up with their misadventures now because Keith David won't let him go because he's seen the body and he hates these delivery men, maybe. There's a nice little button on the opening credits for that where the pizza guy's girlfriend calls into a radio station and says, my boyfriend never came home last night. I just know he's out cheating on me with another woman. But no,
can we talk about his insane pizza uniform that has pizza slice epaulettes on the shoulder?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
if I'm going to wear shoulder pads in my outfit, it may as well be pizza slices.
Yeah, I mean, it would be appropriate for us.
So he gets tied up and involved in their little gang. So right now we got Charlie Sheen and I think her name's Susan.
Yeah, sure.
Charlie Sheen and Susan, who she thinks are on a date. He's really trying to get information from her. Emilio and his crew following them, and then the hitmen don't know who to follow because the guys have the body and the date has the girl they're after. they don't
And
know
Charlie
who to follow.
Sheen's his fit is insane. This
It
like
really
fucking sweater and like weird.
It looks like Chris Evans' outfit from Knives Out.
Yeah. Really
Like thick threaded sweater or like a thick pattern. So I think the date they go to a couple of places and then they get Emilio and them get lost or separated. The date gets separated also, but the gangsters catch up to him again after there's an accident with the cops where they tie him up and make it look like they're having sex on a piece of children's equipment.
Real quick, don't blow past this scene because this is where you realize that the movie does not take place on any Earth that we're aware of. Keith David has a pellet gun that nobody realizes is a pellet gun in the car holding it to some white dude's head, and the cops do not shoot him 10,000 times. Yeah. He's able to, like, negotiate his way out of this. Like, the cop is behind him. Like, they would have been super dead. Like, it's like...
1,000%.
Like, it's just like, I can suspend my disbelief in this, like, goofy trash man movie, but this is where it goes, like, full-on cuckoo bananas. Like, then it's just like, okay, and then we'll handcuff you, so it looks like you guys are butt-fucking on the merry-go-round. Especially when the cops already know who Emilio Estevez is.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Like, all this other stuff they've been trained for and, like, can get out of, but
yeah,
they assaulted two officers and stripped them down and tied them to a merry-go-round. They're still going to get arrested for that.
Yeah.
But not in this movie. The gangsters corner Charlie Sheen and Susan on the beach. They catch up to him somehow. I don't remember quite how they found them. It was just luck. They catch up to him on the beach, but one guy decides he's not going to use a gun. He's going to use a taser. And the other gangster goes, well, what's a taser? Just use a gun.
Right.
No, it sends 10,000 volts of electricity through your body. And like, I haven't seen this movie probably since I was like 9 or 10-ish, maybe. But I remember this scene, like line for line, word for word, with the taser and everything. And then he shoots him with the taser to prove that it would work, thus knocking him out and letting the heroes get away.
Well, he gets the Emperor Palpatine lightning in his mouth too.
And on his gun for some reason. And then it cuts to a scene of them driving the car, and the guy who got tased, like, what happened? It's like a lightning bolt.
That's how it works.
Freak lightning storm came out of nowhere.
I gotta be honest with you, Alec, this is where I just stopped watching the movie, basically, because it kind of turns into, like, an action movie, and, like, I can't do it at this point.
Yeah, it really did. It just kind of devolved into an action movie. All the parties kind of meet up again. Well, Charlie and Susan actually get caught by the gangsters and then taken to the toxic waste emporium, where they are sentenced to death by being put in containers. And there's no time to take them to the ocean, so they're just dumping them in the old landfill. So they hammer them up, throw them on a truck, and then Emilio Estevez and his crew show up in a garbage truck with no brakes, because that was the prank that the other guys played on them.
We cut
your brake line.
That's some kind of prank. Like, when you die, it's, I got you.
So they crash through the whole warehouse. There's like a shootout and all kinds of shenanigans. Then there's a car chase to the landfill. The main evil bad guy, like, has to watch them get landfill just to, I guess, I don't know, maintain an erection.
Right.
As they're dumping these containers of toxic waste into the landfill, then Emilio and his crew show up in a cop car? Or no, it's a rent-a-cop car. It's a fake cop car, but it has the lights and everything.
It has the lights, yeah.
So they show up trying to show that they're the cops and get the bad guys to surrender, which something happened. They found out the gun's a fake somehow or something. I can't remember. Who can possibly? But the end result is a kind of a shootout, kind of a fist fight with everybody. And also there's like trucks and excavators and bulldozer fights, which sounds awesome.
It sounds cool.
But it's really slow and boring. And then the final resolution, like all the bad guys have been knocked into the toxic waste, presumably going to die awful deaths.
Horrendous deaths.
Like they're either melting or they're going to be riddled with cancer. The main bad guy, that in the 5 seconds between him crushing their limo that they were in, or crushing the car they were in, and getting out to find them to beat them up, they set up an elaborate, like, clown-based punishment system, where one of them hits him in the face with, like, with some kind of white powder, not cocaine, probably concrete. And then Charlie and Emilio do their cymbal clash on his head, and they put him in the limo with the dead body, so they've had time to set up with a drink and a cigar and sunglasses. And then they run the limo into the toxic waste. Maybe? Or no, he gets out and runs into like a chute and
then
flies
they turn
down.
into Super Shredder.
And then he flies down the toxic waste. He like rides a slide into the toxic waste through like a water main chute or something. And that's about it. Then they show you that the cops who are stuck on the merry-go-round, who are handcuffed to the merry-go-round, a dog they think might come rescue them, but turns out to just pee on them.
Yeah.
That's all that dog showed up for.
And that's the movie. That's Men at Work. And no Land Down Under in the ending credits. They really dropped the ball on that one. Also by a band called Men at Work.
I got it.
Yeah. Did you get it?
Thank you.
Did you get it, Vegemite sandwich? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this movie, it's kind of funny. Like, it's like, kind of funny, but like, it also is like, it's like, at times I feel like, why is this a movie? Like, I don't know. It's like, it's got all the parts of a movie, but like,
it's funny because I guess Emilio Estevez was talking about the movie and they're like, so why'd you do it? He's like, well, I was sitting outside, or I was sitting in my apartment. I saw trash men go by. I was like, hey, nobody's ever made a movie about trash men before. And it's like, okay, then what?
Yeah. He didn't do that like and then kind of thought exercise. Yeah.
It's like I freaking Gogs texted, I guess, and it was like, oh yeah, this movie's boring as piss. I'm sorry. And I'm like, I'm probably like 20 minutes, half an hour into it. I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. Like,
not that bad, yeah.
Where it's like, where he's like, she had a hair lip, and it's like, you didn't even know anything about her. It's like, no, she had a hair lip.
Yeah.
The banter's fun. Like, you can tell they're having a good time.
Yeah, the part like we talked about in the beginning where they're like at work and then they go have like 5 beers at lunch and then go surfing and then their boss is like, we got all these complaints on you where you're throwing people's trash cans. They're like, what can you do, dickhead? Like, that's just like kind of funny.
Wouldn't the movie be better if it was just I'm trying to open the surf shop? Did I need all this like identical twin bullshit? Like,
actually, why does it need to be like although like the weird political intrigue that this movie has like is very oddly placed, like it I didn't need the Chinatown plot in here.
because like they're garbage men. They could have just seen this happening already and that gets them where they need to be,
right?
Without having the senator and the tapes and the
it's weird
and all that stuff. Like they're already in the biz.
I think, Alec, you said it, but like they make a big deal out of this fucking tape, but ultimately it does nothing. Like it doesn't mean anything.
No, I think he even destroys it. Maybe.
Well, like it's also like it starts out, it's a garbage man movie, so like the surf shop, all the trials and tribulations over in the surf shop would be a perfectly reasonable stakes for them, but they open with like a moderate stakes plot with what do you call it? The toxic waste, where you're like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. It's not going to be too big because they're just garbage. But then it turns into a murder mystery, and it's like, well, why didn't you just start with the murder? Or like, why do we have all these steps? Like,
yeah, it's very odd, and it's just, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't know why this movie just can't be like a full on like goofy comedy. Like,
and it's
John, you said it. Like when it's weird because when it devolves into like the crappy action movie at the end, it really just loses all steam.
Yeah,
Like,
it's totally out of gas.
completely.
And like, you don't need the Rear Window fucking plot to get where you're going. Like, I mean, you can get there without that fucking setup.
Yeah,
But like, I guess you needed to have him shoot the guy in the like. It's so convoluted. For and again, what Alex said, like for something that doesn't really matter at the end because the tape doesn't come back like at all, and the fact that they're just looking for the tape.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
also like,
if you just want to do the toxic waste plot, just be like, oh, they accidentally picked up the wrong garbage truck and had all this toxic waste in it, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot cleaner ways to get where you're going.
I can't believe he wrote 15 drafts of this script, and this is the one they stuck with, right? Like
the first 14 were like real racist.
It's like that Simpsons where like Homer, they're doing the video for the plant, and like Homer is like he's mimicking all of Burns' direction off screen, and Burns picks up Burns, and he's like 151 takes, and that
is the best one.
Did anybody look up this movie's like? Did this movie do well, or did this tank?
I'm not sure. I can get it.
I think it did like okay.
I'm looking it up now. But I do remember this movie. It was very cheap too. It was a $9 million movie.
Yeah.
So
it's like
it did okay. $16 million on a $9 million budget.
It's like Emilio Estevez has this thing where like he doesn't really like curse that much in movies, so it's like this sucks and so do you. You're a pain in the ass, like you butthead. Like he always does that. I don't know. Like I always think of him for that. I also forgot Emilio Estevez is in Mission Impossible for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I saw that on IMDb, and I was trying to remember. Well, like, I don't remember that at all.
There's like a cold open, I guess, and like there's a bunch of people in it, and he gets killed like right away.
Oh.
This is kind of the first movie we've seen him in where I think where it's kind of like, he's okay, but like, go ahead.
Sorry,
because he's not doing anything like weird in it.
No, he's not. He's being him and Charlie Sheen in this movie are like interchangeable. They're like, he's not his usual crazy self that we've liked in the other movies.
Yeah, that's weird that a movie about a trash man uncovering this palace intrigue about a political assassination is like the normalest movie we've seen him in.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of Emilio movies.
So the other guy that it was supposed to be instead of Charlie Sheen was Judd Nelson.
Okay.
So, Bender from Breakfast Club, that was his name in that movie, right?
That would have been a much different movie.
And John Hughes was going to direct it. And then decided not to.
He probably read the script. He was like, maybe.
Give me like 5 more versions, Emilio, then maybe you got it.
Is this a quote from, this is a quote from Hughes. When I was reading it, I thought it was so good, so close to my bone. What? I'm
sorry?
He said, John Hughes said, when I was reading the screenplay, I thought it was so good, so close to my bone. I thought that I had written it. He must have read one of the other drafts. I don't know.
So close to my bone?
That is literally the quote. Yes, so close to my bone.
What the fuck does that mean?
Then he goes on to say, Emilio wanted to direct it, and I'm sure he will be able to. He can do anything. He can act, he can write, he can direct. He's surpassed me in that respect. I can't act. I wish I could. Okay.
I mean, okay, I see what he meant. I think he definitely doesn't surpass him as a director.
No.
Yeah.
John Hughes is pretty good.
John Hughes pretty good. But I was trying to think of the other things that Emilio Estevez directed. I want to say, didn't he direct fucking like Frost Nixon or some shit? I don't know. I'm looking at it.
I'm not sure.
He did not.
He directed some movie with him and his dad, like that came out like not that long ago.
Oh yeah, it was about like called like The Hike or something
like that.
Walk or something like that. This movie, the soundtrack is not like memorable at all. Like I don't think I recognize like any songs from it. Where I was like, oh yeah, at least now we're going.
It has an unusual amount of reggae for a surfer trash man movie.
Yeah, basically, because every time that guy was on screen, they had to play reggae music.
Yeah. This is one of those movies that's tough to talk about because besides reiterating the plot and how, like, nonsensical it is, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. It's very, like, just kind of stock 80s jank or 90s or whatever.
It's just very bland. Like, it's weird to me reading the quote that Sean said about how, like, he was inspired after he saw, like, some, like, this is something he really wanted to make, and it's like, why? Like, there's no, like, you know what I mean? Like, this screenplay doesn't reek of, like, passion or, like, an interesting idea. Like, there's nothing to this movie. Like,
also a movie I was not expecting the N-word to pop up in.
Oh, yeah. That was unexpected.
I don't know, man. Maybe Emilio's passion is trash.
Maybe.
I love that.
Yeah, he said he was.
I could see him sitting down, like almost like a kid sitting down to write this. You're like, yeah, this trash movie is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kick-ass.
It's like Sean said. He said he got home from shooting St. Elmo's Fire, and it was 5 a.m, and he heard a trash truck coming down. He's like, man, nobody's made a movie about them. Like, yeah.
You did it.
Yeah, good job, man.
And nobody's done it since.
Yeah. All right. I guess 5 knuckle shuffle time. Did Gogs give us a score? I think he did.
4.
He gave us
a 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Alec.
I'm gonna give this a 6.
Fair.
It was fairly boring, but like most movies of this age and this weird, like, vanilla oatmeal genre,
Right.
like, I still remember half of it. Like,
That's pretty good.
I remember a bunch of lines from it, from watching it as a kid. And, like, that white boy line still kills me.
It was fun.
And I still see it in other stuff, and, like, I completely forgot it was from this. Like, I had no idea. And I would never have guessed in a million years. He said, what movie does that line come from? I never would have thought Men at Work. Yeah, but there's nothing really to it, man. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Maybe he kept writing them all at 5 a.m. on trash days when he was on the Jaeger, coffee, ice cream, Tylenol kicks. The Tylenol in there is not a bad idea. You're taking care of your hangover.
You know, I bet the ice cream would smooth a lot of that shit out. I bet it wouldn't be as bad as it seems.
The Jaeger just... Ugh.
Yeah, the Jaeger is where you lose me. That and the coffee that isn't sitting out all night, presumably. That just makes, I don't know, that grosses me out.
Well, yeah, it's a 6. It's not great. TJ.
It's a 5 for me, dog. This is a classic example of a movie that, it's not terrible, but it's just not memorable and left no impact on me at all. Like, it didn't really usher any kind of emotional response. Like, I don't feel like it's a terrible movie, but like, again, like I just said, like, I don't feel like there's like anything to this movie. And like, I think that, Keith David is really good in the movie, but like, even he doesn't like make it like memorable. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of there. Also, I know that in the movie they're not brothers, but like they look so much alike. It's really jarring that they're not brothers in this movie. It's like, like at some point they should, like, it's weird that we look like so much. It's like kind
what are
of
you boys, brothers? They could do it like that and then just
yeah, that'd have
like,
been funny.
no.
That'd have been a good joke. That'd have been a fun joke to put in the movie. But yeah, it's a 5. It is just a classic, you know, vaporware fucking movie for me. So it's a 5 for me, dog. Sean.
It's between a 5 and a 6. I'm going to say 6 because, like, it is not unmemorable because I did remember a shitload of lines. Like, I said it before we even watched it last week. It was like the Field and Herbert's Waltz asshole. I think about that all the time. The fucking, you know, never touch another man's fries. I mean, that's like almost like meme status. I think most people remember that. But I think I remember the movie because, like, I think we all did this. If you had a movie available that you could rewatch, you rewatched it. Like, and, like, you just watched it till the fucking tape popped.
I remember watching, I think it was Police Academy 3. It's the one where they go to Florida.
Yeah, Operation Miami Beach. I think that's 4.
I It might,
I
yeah.
think that might be 5.
Oh, shit.
I watched that movie, like, I kid you not, dude, like 15 times, probably more than that. And it's not good at all. Like, but we had it, and it was one of the, like, handful of movies that I had, and I remember we had it in the big Errol's red VHS, like, clamshell thing. Like, oh, God. But I watched that
Was
movie.
it red or was it that weird, like, terracotta color that only, fucking movie cases came in?
No, I think this was red because it was legitimately from, like, Errol's things were all red.
Okay, I barely remember Errol's.
Yeah, but it was...
I was thinking we need to do a Police Academy month.
Did you guys do a Police Academy movie? You did Mission to Moscow, didn't you?
We did Mission to Moscow, which was
5 other movies.
Abomination. Yeah. We'll watch
Citizens on Patrol.
We'll watch Mission to Miami, where I can recite like all the lines. Where there's one line where they talk about the one police officer's tits, and I remember liking that. And then there's a Jaws reference where the guy that has like the big Magnum, like Jaws comes to the shark comes to the shore, and then the guy with the big Magnum puts the gun to the shark's head, and it does like the fucking Benny Hill thing where it goes in reverse.
Is that Castleberry is the guy with the big gun?
How the fuck do you remember that? Tackleberry, but yeah.
Tackleberry, okay, yeah.
And then
it was High Castle was
Bubba Smith,
the other dude, yeah.
Hooks.
Yeah.
Isn't that his name? Bubba Smith? He was
Bubba Smith.
Yeah. He was
a Colt. Yeah. And then there was Hooks and then Mahoney and then fucking shit. What was Schroeder? Or no, that was his name in Short Circuit. That guy, fuck.
Yeah.
The captain, the dickhead.
Yeah. I don't know. Police Academy month would be interesting. Nothing else.
But yeah, like
I bet
the movie...
there would be some bangers and some not so bangers.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Like that Mission Miami Beach, Operation Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, because that's the one. It's like it's not even they're trying to solve a crime. It's just like the annual police bash.
Yeah, it's like the plot of fucking Reno 911
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember loving that fucking movie.
Well, you know there's going to be a lot of weird...
They replaced Gutenberg with,
forget who it is.
Can't remember the other guy's name. He played not Lloyd Braun.
He
was the Serenity Now guy from Seinfeld.
Yes, that guy. Yep, exactly.
But he's been in a ton of other stuff, but I can't remember the other stuff.
You know there's going to be a lot of weird gay panic shit in those movies. Like, I haven't seen them in forever, but, like, you just know where that's going.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But,
all right.
No, this movie is just like, I don't know, man. Like, he's trying something. So, like, whatever. It's a 6. It's not, like, incompetent. It's just janky in a not fun way.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, what do we have? Is next month, are we still in May next month? Or next week?
Oh, yeah, it's Memorial Day. It's still May.
Is it a grab bag?
Well, it's a grab bag or a funeral pick.
Yeah, because we got
Jim Brown and Ray Stevenson.
Only they were in a movie together.
Yeah, I was going to say we could watch The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but that was Ray Winstone, not Ray Stevenson. We did Warzone, right? We have done that movie.
I felt like we did Warzone, yeah.
I thought we did both Punisher movies.
I didn't do Warzone, but it might have been before I came.
It was a long time ago. We'll figure it out one way or another. I'm fine with watching Mars Attacks. That would be fun to watch.
We could watch Original Gangsters with Jim Brown and Fred Williamson and Pam. You remember that when they made the 90s blaxploitation movie?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Didn't we watch one of the old ones?
Through the Hard Way. That movie rules.
Yeah,
we've watched like 5 or 6 of his movies. Yeah,
we've done a few. He was in Any Given Sunday. He was in.
Oh, that's right. He was in Any Given Sunday. I forgot.
Fuck. What else was? Shit. Hang on. I know there was another one he pops up in. Like,
there was 3 consecutive movies of his that we had seen at one point. It was like Any Given Sunday and 2 other movies. I was like, oh, we watched all 3 of them. But one of them might have been Mars Attacks that we were going to watch, but we didn't.
Did we do the Running? We didn't do the Running Man, right? Because he's in that.
No, I was gonna.
Running Man. Oh,
I was gonna suggest him for that to watch that for his for this, but I don't know how much he's in it. Oh, I don't remember him in it.
So we did He Got Game. He's in that. We did Draft Day. He's in that. We did Small Soldiers. He's in that.
Jesus.
Any Given Sunday.
Yep, Any Given Sunday, Free the Hard Way.
More on his career than any other podcast. Like
Probably.
Yeah.
And accidentally.
Yeah.
Man, I would not mind watching Running Man though. I do love that movie.
I do too. I think he's barely in it though, right? Like,
I mean, he's really good at Mars Attacks, and he has a much bigger role in that movie. Yeah. I'm fine with Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I can roll with Mars Attacks.
Yeah,
I think it's on Netflix.
I'll put it on the Plex either way.
All right.
That's next week. Mars Attacks. R.I.P. Jim Brown. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson.
R.I.P. Gogs.
Especially Ray Stevenson. Like, he could have, how old was he? Like 50?
He was
58?
He was like, I think he was younger than that. I think he was like 54 or something.
Yeah, he's a young dude.
Crazy. And he always seemed like he was in good shape, but I guess you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And I don't know. Apparently,
did he unalive himself? Do they know?
I don't think they haven't said. I don't think they.
Oh, okay.
But like, I who knows? But I will say that like, he was always the guy that was fun when he showed up. Like he was the guy I always liked when he popped up in movies. And you know, we all love Warzone. Like Warzone was a lot of fun. I like his portrayal of the Punisher. Probably my favorite out of all of them. I mean, I like the Lundgren one a lot, but I feel like his is the closest to like the comic that we've ever gotten.
Yeah, him or Bernthal.
Yeah, well,
Bernthal's real chatty though.
Yeah, Bernthal's good. I mean, I take it back. I probably like Bernthal the best, but also Bernthal has the benefit of having probably the best written one out of all.
Yeah, and the most time to fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I liked Ray Stevenson a lot. I actually totally forgot that he was in the fucking Thor movie.
Because when I read it for a second, I was like, the old fucking San Francisco wrestler, and I was like, oh, that was Ray Stevens.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah, it sucks. That guy was great. And, R.I.P. Jim Brown also fucking great. Legend, like, on the screen and off the screen, and fucking did a lot of other stuff, like, fucking got ruled. So anyway, all right. Well, that's the show. Gogs, take some Tums if you're listening. Well, you don't listen to he doesn't listen. What do you say? He doesn't listen to shows that he's not on.
I don't blame him.
That's the weirdest thing. I would prefer. I actually like listening. I like when I'm not on the show because I like listening to the shows that I'm not on. I don't listen to the ones that I'm on generally. Because I already heard it. I already did it, and I don't like to hear myself. All right. Everybody.
Bye.
You know what to do. Go eat your own ass.
Later.
Rage against capitalism.
Make sure you make a podcast about raging against capitalism.
That's right. We're still recording.
If you don't have a podcast, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. That we should make that a shirt. If it's not on a podcast, it doesn't count.
You know what you need to do? You need to get a picture of Gog's living room. And
dude, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a funny idea. You know what I can do is next time I go over there, I'll sit in his chair, right, at the computer, and I'll just turn around and take a picture so it looks exactly like it does when he sits at his camera. That's a good idea. Oh, bro, that's a good idea. Oh,
he's gonna lose it.
Gogs, I'm at your house. That's so funny. Oh, well, I'm going over there one day, so yeah, I'll take a picture. Oh, I gotta sneak it somehow. I gotta distract him somehow.
Yeah, that's not that hard.
No, it's really not. I'll have to wait till he takes a shit or something.
All right.
How about them O's, huh? Sweeping the Blue Jays. Man, that shit was great. I was a little nervous too Sunday because I was like, damn, they're gonna give it up. And then they had that monster fucking 10th inning. I was like, oh my god. That was awesome.
Yeah, they're on fire. They're only 2.5 back from Tampa right now.
They're looking so good. The pitching is coming around. Like, it's very exciting. It's very, very exciting. I hope we take at least 2 or 3 from the Yankees. That would be fucking huge. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a big series.
They're keeping pace with everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, distance between them and everybody else.
It's really impressive that they're keeping pace even with Tampa, who started so amazing. You know what I mean? I feel like every time I turn around, Tampa's just winning. But we're only, 2.5 back from Tampa? I mean, I know it's a long season, but still, like, that's impressive for a team.
2.5 back when you're on the cusp of June?
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, this team is exciting, man. Like, I get a little nervous because I watched something off of like MLB TV, and like now it seems like we're starting to get like national attention, and I'm like, no, don't pay attention to us, you know, like you don't need to talk about us. You keep talking about your fucking Yankees and your fucking Dodgers, like we'll be fine.
Keep talking about Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Judge.
It's so great that like the teams with the spending the most money are just doing they're not doing the worst, but they're not nearly living up to all that money. Like,
yeah, I mean they're still not doing terrible. When you look at like the last place team in the AL East would be second place in like every other division.
Yeah. Well, look at the Mets are like in meltdown mode. Like it's kind of crazy. But that's the thing with like. You know, I'm glad that we didn't like break the bank and get a pitcher, because like the thing is like if we just spent all that money on like Max Scherzer, like look where he is right now. Look at Verlander. Like, I mean, you know, those guys were good, but like they don't last forever. And Verlander is pretty old. They're
both in their 40s, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think it looks like we're doing the right thing. Like. Pitching is coming around. Like, everybody seems to be getting better. Like, I don't know, man. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, it is looking good. It's exciting.
It is genuinely, dude, it's the most exciting this team, I think, has ever been. Like, even the Buck years, they weren't this exciting. Because, like, I feel like the Buck years, even when they were a good team, they'd always, like, come on strong late. I feel like they never had these, like, crazy openings like this. Like, I don't know. There's something different about this team. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go pee.
Yeah. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Later, buddy.
See you, dude.